My name is Jane Gilbert. I am the Air Licensing Section Manager for the Maine Department of Environmental Protection's Bureau of Air Quality. This presentation is regarding the Air Emission License Amendment application submitted by Global Companies LLC, received by the Department on February 12, 2020, and accepted by the Department as complete for processing on February 25, 2020. The Department of Environmental Protection had previously intended to hold a public meeting on Global's application. However, due to restrictions designed to help prevent the spread of coronavirus disease, the Department is unable to hold a traditional public meeting at this time or in the foreseeable future. In order to keep the process moving forward and address ongoing concerns in a timely manner, the Department is providing this presentation as a substitute for a traditional public meeting. The purpose of a public meeting on an application is to provide the public with information on the application process and to solicit comments on the application itself. The following presentation contains the same information that would have been made available at a public meeting and provides options for submitting comments to the Department in lieu of the verbal comments that would have been accepted at a meeting. This presentation includes the following components: a brief summary of events leading to this application, a brief overview of the air emission licensing process and categories, including the process to amend Global's air emission license, specific changes to Global's air emission license proposed in the application, and opportunities for public participation. This sharing of information is one piece of the air emission license amendment process for the Global facility in South Portland. This presentation is about changes to the facility's air emission license proposed in this application, the amendment process for Global's air emission license, opportunities for public participation in this licensing process. This presentation is not about changes and topics beyond the scope of the current application, and it is not about other facilities in South Portland or elsewhere in Maine. Global's air emission license originally addressed emissions from on-site fuel-burning equipment, boilers, hot oil heater, and generator, and emissions from the facility's loading racks. For the loading racks, the Department's focus was on vapors displaced when trucks were loaded, especially if the trucks previously carried gasoline. Global was required to install and operate control equipment for loading racks. Emissions from the storage of number 6 fuel oil and asphalt have traditionally been considered insignificant, less than 1 ton per year, based on EPA's previously approved calculation methodology. However, EPA has since required on-site testing at the Global facility, which indicated emissions from these tanks may not be insignificant. In 2019, a consent decree between Global and EPA was finalized, in which Global agreed to address certain things in their air emission license. The application submitted by Global is to add requirements to their license as mandated by the consent decree. Major source versus minor source. In accordance with the Clean Air Act, emitting facilities are categorized as either major sources or minor sources. A major source is a source which emits or has the potential to emit 100 tons per year or more of any single regulated pollutant, such pollutants including particulate matter, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, and carbon monoxide, or 50 tons per year or more of volatile organic compounds, or VOC. Major source licenses are authorized through federal regulations found at 40 Code of Federal Regulations, or CFR, Part 70, and Title V of the Clean Air Act. These licenses are issued by states with delegated authority through the Clean Air Act. A minor source is a source which emits or has the potential to emit less than major source levels. These licenses are issued by states through states' minor source licensing programs. In Maine, changes may be made to a minor source license during the term of the license through the appropriate license amendment process as prescribed by the Department's Chapter 115 regulation, 06-096 Code of Maine Rules, or CMR, Chapter 115. Minor source license amendments are processed under one of three categories: major modification, minor modification, or minor revision. A major modification is any modification that would result in a significant emissions increase of any regulated pollutant, excluding greenhouse gases, at an existing stationary source. For this facility, currently a minor source, this is equal to a licensed increase of 50 tons per year or more of VOC above the current license limit. A minor modification is a modification with a licensed emissions increase of 4 tons per year or more of any one regulated pollutant, except greenhouse gases, or 8 tons per year or more for total regulated pollutants, again, except greenhouse gases, and results in less than a significant emissions increase for all pollutants. A minor revision has a licensed emissions increase less than 4 tons per year for any one regulated pollutant and under 8 tons per year of total regulated pollutants, both excluding greenhouse gases, and is determined to not be a major or minor modification. Global's application requested no increase in licensed emissions levels. Therefore, the application was accepted for processing as a minor revision. Air license revisions imposed by the consent decree. Global submitted this application to the Maine Department of Environmental Protection to revise the facility's air emission license to incorporate the following conditions. Global shall have no more than 4 heated bulk storage tanks containing either number 6 oil or asphalt at the terminal, no more than 2 of which shall contain number 6 oil at any one time. Global shall not apply heat to the 4 heated bulk storage tanks for an aggregate of at least 120 non-heating days on a 12-month rolling total basis. A non-heating day is any calendar day during which heat is not added to one of the 4 bulk storage tanks. Multiple non-heating days may accrue on any day where multiple heated bulk storage tanks are not heated on the same day, with each heated bulk storage tank that is not heated counting as a separate non-heating day. Global shall have throughput limitations of 50 million gallons per year of number 6 oil and 75 million gallons per year of asphalt on a 12-month rolling total basis. Though not required by the consent decree, Global has proposed to limit the throughput for distillate products to 150 million gallons per year on a 12-month rolling total basis. Global also proposes that the existing air emission license be revised to note that emissions from the heated bulk storage tanks are included in the facility-wide emissions limitation. Supplemental measures. In addition to these limitations, Global will be installing supplemental measures to control odors on the vents of each heated bulk storage tank in service at the facility. This equipment includes a mist eliminator required by the consent decree and a dry scrubber proposed by Global as a voluntary measure, and an exhaust fan. An air emission license amendment is not required prior to installing this additional equipment. This chart shows public participation requirements for air emission licensing actions for minor sources per Chapter 115. Each category of licensing action, new license, license renewal, major modification, minor modification, or minor revision, is addressed. The two public participation opportunities which may be required are public notification of the submittal of an application and public notification of draft availability before the license is issued. For this minor revision application, no notice of public participation is required by Chapter 115. However, at the Department's discretion, two opportunities for public comment are being provided. The first opportunity to comment on the application, and the second opportunity to comment on the completed draft before it is issued. A typical minor revision process follows these steps. The source submits an application. The Department reviews the application for completeness and accepts the application as complete for processing if completeness criteria are met. The Department then drafts the license amendment. The facility is provided the draft amendment for input to correct informational content and so that there are no surprises. Input from the facility is incorporated as appropriate. Then the final license amendment is issued. For this application, all of the components for a typical minor revision process will be followed, and at the Department's discretion, opportunities will be provided for public input. Currently, public comments are being accepted on the application. When a final draft is available, the draft will be posted to the DEP website for public review and comment. The Department will review all comments received and incorporate changes as appropriate before issuing the license amendment. This concludes this presentation of a brief recap of events leading to this application, air emission licensing basics, specific proposed changes to Global's air emission license, and the opportunities available to the public for participation in the process. Comments may be sent by mail to the mailing address shown, Maine Department of Environmental Protection, BAQ, Global Project Manager, 17 State House Station, Augusta, Maine, 04333-0017, or by email to the email address shown, air-global.dep@maine.gov. Comments will be accepted on this application until the close of business on Monday, June 1st, 2020. Thank you.